Hello and welcome to the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum for tonight's broadcast of Utah State women's basketball. I'm Jaden Johnson. Here on the call tonight between Utah State and Arizona. Should be a good matchup for the Aggies. Aggies entering tonight's competition 1-1 on the season after picking up a win against Dixie State on Tuesday, I believe it was. So we're going to kick things off here in just a moment. I'll introduce the teams. We'll talk about starting lineups, but we are going to start with just going back over an interview from Coach Finkbeiner that I did just not long ago. So here's Coach Finkbeiner about today's game. All right, Coach, a couple games into the season, you've kind of seen some things from this team. What have you seen from the team so far this season that's kind of impressed and that you've felt has gone above and beyond, and what do you feel like the team still has to work on?
I think the best thing I've seen, Jaden, is just progress in the right direction. We're practicing better every week, showing more confidence every week. We're definitely better than our exhibition game, our Irvine game, and I think even Dixie from last Friday, Saturday game. So it's a team that's just moving the right direction right now with practice ethics and understand the game plan more. And it's still a very young season, but we're still a very young team despite the returning numbers. So yeah, that's a good feeling for a coach.
So how much can you take away from a game like Dixie where it's an exhibition and maybe doesn't go on the record and whatnot? Do you still take the same things out of that?
Well, I tell you, it's an interesting NCAA rule, but it does go on our record. It doesn't go on Dixie's record. Now, if we would have both played before November, the opening weekend, it would have been an exhibition game for us. So we will count it. And the Dixie game had a lot of value to it because they're well coached. They what I call a clean team. They execute really well. They had good ball handlers. They had really good shooters. And so we had to guard. We had to play hard to win by 20. It wasn't a lot of times 20-game wins or blowouts, but I didn't classify it as a blowout win. I classified it as just a good, solid four-quarter win. And because of that, that was our first win of the season. And that just helps getting the pressure off of getting that first one underneath our belts.
So Laura and Taylor both checked in that last game. So does that mean that there's not any red shirts this season, correct?
Right. Yeah. I typically don't redshirt freshmen. My philosophy is that let's get them involved. Let's play them. Let's take them on the road. Let's part of a team. And then if we feel like we need some development, I like to redshirt the sophomore year. So those kind of decisions will be geared for those three freshmen next year. And on top of that, we have 11, 12 team members at any one given time. So we can't afford to redshirt even if we wanted to, because I think even by the middle of the season, I think everybody's going to get playing time most every game out. So we're not going to have somebody on the bench probably that's just vegetating there wishing for a redshirt season. I think everybody's going to contribute.
So a team like Arizona, they bring back only 3 players from last season, only 2 that played against Utah State last season. How do you prepare for a team like that? I mean, in only 1 game so far this year.
Yeah, I think you're asking me some good philosophical questions. In a perfect world, I just throw scouting reports out because I just want us to do what we need to do. But in today's world, you have scouting reports. The kids need it just to help them focus, and so we give them stuff. But it is harder to do the Arizona group because of that factor. But they have 2 exhibition games. They have 1 regular season game, and we have tape of the 2 of those 3 games. So we have enough. Playing them last year, we know what they try to do offensively and defensively. They're a half-court team. We're a full-court team, and so I think tonight's game will go early with tempo. Are we making a full-court game, or are they really, locking down on defense and do what they want to do offensively in 20, 25 seconds? So it'll be a good mix and match of 2 philosophies, but with only 3 returning players, 2 girls that played against last year, it doesn't make it easy for her to scout, but it's almost in today's world. There's a lot of kids leave programs. Kids that left our program, just the way it is. You just got to bounce back. And at Arizona, with the resources they have and the ability to recruit, I think they easily replace what they lost.
So going up against a Pac-12 team, you got 3 of those this season. I mean, does preparation change at all when you're playing like such a high quality of talent? I mean, or is it pretty similar in the preparation that you do for every game?
Yeah, it's very similar. I think there's maybe a little more motivation in games like this. In fact, this one we're trying to tack on that people will forget about our Irvine loss if we can beat Arizona. We just felt like 999 times out of 1,000, if we're ahead by 13 points with 2 minutes to go, we're going to win. And so we didn't get that Irvine game, but that's in the past. We've moved forward, but we reflect back on the pre-conference season, this game would go a long ways for just the future of our program headed to the Mountain West in January.
All right, Coach. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Good luck tonight. Hopefully there's a full crowd out there for. All right, so that was Coach Finkbeiner just talking about his team's first game, their first home game against Dixie State, and kind of previewing a little bit about Arizona State. Arizona State, a really, really interesting team on paper. Only 3 players returning from last year's squad, as we heard him talking about. Only 2 of those that played against Utah State. They got 10 newcomers on that team, 3 of whom are transfers, so they'll be sitting out this season. But just, a really young, really new squad for Arizona State. And I'm sure it's been kind of tough for Coach Finkbeiner in planning. But we will see what Utah State's able to do. Last year, these 2 teams faced off down in Arizona. Utah State fell 61-57. They kept it close through the majority of it, but then had to overcome a enormous lead, 16-point lead by Arizona in the fourth quarter. Almost came back and won, wasn't quite able to. So we'll looks like teams are just about to go have start with their starting lineups announced, and we're going to take just a quick break and come back with that and a little bit more pregame analysis before we tip off here in Logan. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back. Utah State and Arizona just about to get underway. Team's about to announce starting lineups, but so we'll have that with you. Arizona actually just announced theirs, so I guess we can go ahead and read over theirs. Arizona is going to start things off with Lucia Alonso, a sophomore guard out of Leon, Spain. Kat Wright, senior forward out of Woodland Hills, California. Sam Thomas, a freshman forward out of Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Destiny Graham, a junior forward out of San Francisco, California, and Jalea Bennett, senior guard out of Grand Prairie, Texas. Utah State starting things off with Eliza West, sophomore guard out of Mount Martha, Australia. Olivia West, a sophomore guard out of Lanston, Australia. Shannon Duffy, a sophomore forward out of Preston, Australia. Rachel Brewster, a junior guard out of, you guessed it, Melbourne, Australia. And Deja Mason, the junior center out of San Antonio, Texas. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast, whether you're listening from Aggie Radio 92.3 KBLU in Logan, or whether you're listening aggieradio.com or joining us via stream on Mountain West Network. Glad to have you all here for tonight's matchup. Utah State taking on a team from the Pac-12 in Arizona, so an exciting night here in Logan. It's always fun to get Pac-12 teams up here. Utah State's going to face off against 3 this season in Arizona, Utah, and Oregon State. Just about to get underway. As I mentioned, these 2 teams played against each other last season down in Arizona, where Arizona came out on top 61-57. So Utah State looking for a little bit of revenge. Arizona coming off of a 5-13 season in the Pac-12, 14-16 overall. They finished 11th in the conference. So not the season that Arizona hoped for. And as I mentioned, they're coming back, picked to finish 11th this year again due to having so many newcomers. Only 3 players returning from last year's squad back here for the Wildcats. So we're just about to get underway. Deja Mason goes up against Jalea Bennett for the tip-off. Bennett wins the tip-off, though, so Arizona starts in possession. Bennett has it near the wing, outside of 3. Gets it up to right, top of the arc, right over to Sam Thomas, back to right. Right's going to shoot it up from 3 at the wing, and it goes in. Arizona first shot of the game, just seconds in, already up 3-0. Utah State coming back the other way. They're going to start at point guard with Mountain West Freshman of the Year, Eliza West. Eliza West coming off a 19-point game against Dixie State, led the way for Utah State in that one. Finds Brewster over at the wing and hands it back to West. West finds Mason all alone, top of the arc. Mason sets a screen as she hands it off to Duffy. Duffy's shot goes up and good. About 15 feet from the wing. Utah State bringing it within 1, 3-2. Just about a minute in. At point guard for Arizona, Lucia Alonso. Arizona gets it to Sam Thomas just outside of the paint. Sam Thomas gets fouled as she puts it up, and the shot goes in. So she's going to have an and-one opportunity with her team already up 5-2. Sam Thomas heading to the line. Thomas played 39 out of 40 minutes in the team's opening game against Iona. Arizona's only played 1 game so far. She misses the free throw, but Arizona's able to grab the rebound as Graham was there. Graham's going to get it back off the pass. She finds it at the baseline from about 15. Puts Arizona up 7-2. Great start for the Wildcats here in Logan. Arizona only 1 game so far this season, so they're 1-0 after beating Iona 71-58 last Friday, a week ago today. Foul called on Arizona. Looks like they're going to give it against Jalea Bennett, is who the official signals. So she picks up her first. Brewster inbounds, finds Eliza West. Eliza West just going to drive, take it herself. Doesn't get it to go, and Arizona picks up the rebound. Arizona coming back in transition. Quickly down the court, Alonso's gives it to Bennett. Bennett drives at the rim. Can't get it to go. Grabs her own rebound, though. Fights for it. She's on the ground, but she gets it. Kicks it back outside the arc, and Arizona's just going to reset. Alonso has it. Alonso's screen set by Thomas. Another screen set by Graham. Alonso's looking inside, though. Finds Graham inside. Graham against Mason. Gets blocked. Mason with the block. Goes out of bounds, though, off the baseline. So Arizona will have the inbound. Good defensive play, though, by Deja Mason. Mason had 52 blocks last season. Just adding another to her total here today. So Arizona gets the inbound off the baseline. Working her way up at the top is Alonso. Alonso gets it to Bennett, and it's stolen away by Eliza West. Eliza West finds Olivia West in transition. Olivia West goes at the rim and gets it to go, bringing the Aggies within 3, 7-4, 7:44 remaining in the first quarter. Aggies go with the full court press, and Olivia West, who is so good at that this season, draws the foul far back in the Arizona backcourt. Looks like it's going to go against Arizona's Lucia Alonso, who was just trying to bring it down. But Olivia West had her feet planted. So Aggie inbound, coming from the baseline. Olivia West will inbound it. Finds Duffy way up above the arc, and she's going to reset things to Eliza West. West going up against Alonso. Finds a open Brewster, but Brewster gets blocked on the way up as she worked up the baseline. Alonso in transition, kicks it out. Shot goes up by Sam Thomas, and she makes it from 3, putting Arizona up 10-4. Not the start Utah State would have hoped for. 7:10 remaining, 10-4 is the score. There's Eliza West. Gives it back to Olivia. Olivia West driving, making all kinds of moves. Looks like she walked as she tried to work her way towards the hoop, though, so travel called. And that will be a turnover on Utah State. Utah State, the second youngest team in the entire nation, only 2 upperclassmen on the entire roster, each of whom are juniors. Coming back the other way, there's a little bit of a tie-up as Destiny Graham and Deja Mason fought for the ball. Graham hit the floor, and foul, looks like a jump ball called. And so Utah State will have the inbound. Great defense by Deja Mason to force that. So Eliza West already 2 points on the night. Finds Duffy. Duffy dumps it up to Mason, top of the key. Mason back out to Olivia West. Olivia West off the screen from Mason. She shoots from 15, doesn't get it to go. Rebound picked up by Brewster, though, but then it's taken right away after she picked it up. Lucia Alonso was there coming back in transition. Bennett goes right at the hoop, stops from 5 feet, and puts Arizona up 12-4. Back the other way. Brewster kicks it out into the corner. Eliza West, who's been so good from the corner 3, can't get that one to go. Rebound picked up by Arizona. Arizona coming back quick. Alonso dumps it in, finds an open Destiny Graham. Destiny Graham goes up, and Utah State going to call a timeout. Trailing 14-4 already, 6:08 remaining in the quarter. We're going to take a quick commentary break, and we'll be back at it in just a moment. And welcome back. Utah State trailing early against Arizona, 14-4 game. 6:08 remaining in the first quarter. So Arizona off to a very hot start and on a 7-0 run. So Coach Finkbeiner decided to call a timeout, probably wisely so. We'll see if the Aggies can regroup. Eliza West now working against Alonso, finds Brewster. Brewster going to fire it up. I believe she was in front of the line, but it doesn't go anyway. But Deja Mason's there, gets the offensive rebound and puts it right back up, putting Utah State now down 14-6. Breaks the 7-0 run by Arizona, though. Bennett drives into the lane, but kicks out to Alonso. Alonso shoots it up from 3, and she knocks it down. And Arizona can't miss from 3. Having a phenomenal start, 3 for 3 from behind the arc. Here's Brewster, kicks it out, finds Mason, who's wide open from about 15, can't get that to go. And neither team able to gather in the rebound, but goes out of bounds off the Aggies. Arizona ball. Leading the way so far for Arizona, Thomas with 5 points. No Aggie player with more than a couple. On the other side, Bennett kicks it out up to the top. Here's Thomas. Thomas out to right on the wing. Back to Thomas. I'm sorry, Bennett. Bennett's going to shoot, same spot as last time. Doesn't get it to go this time. 3 from the arc. Doesn't fall. Aggies grab the rebound. Olivia West working the point guard right now. West up against Bennett. West goes out to the left, finds Duffy. Duffy sets a screen as she hands it off to Eliza West. Finds Brewster open on the baseline. Brewster can't get it to go. Arizona picks up the rebound. Coming back, Alonso thinks about the 3, instead kicks it inside. It's dumped back out by Graham, but Graham finds Sam Thomas, and Sam Thomas gets a couple. Arizona out to a 13-point lead already. 19-6 the score, 4:28 to go in the first quarter. As Eliza West. Eliza West goes out left, finds an open Olivia West behind the arc. Olivia West 3 is airballed though. Rebound grabbed by Duffy, and Duffy works her way back up, puts it in. Utah State now down in 19-8. Coming back, Arizona breaks through the full court press of Utah State. Aggies love that full court press. Here's Alonzo. Alonzo finds Thomas. Thomas above the three-point line. Goes out left. Alonzo back up to the top for Wright. Wright going to jack it up from 3. There was good defense there by the Aggies, though, and it doesn't go. Neither team can gather in the rebound, but goes out of bounds off of Destiny Graham. Utah State ball. Looks like foul called off of the ball as well. And so Utah State going to make a substitution as Deja Mason checks out. And in for Deja Mason comes Haley Bassett. Haley Bassett having a phenomenal start to the season. 13 points against UC Irvine, 15 against Dixie, both off the bench. Brewster kicks it into Duffy. Duffy tries to shoot from the baseline but gets blocked by Thomas and out of bounds. So Utah State will have it from the baseline. Brewster trying to make things happen offensively for Utah State, who still hasn't really found their rhythm. Olivia West inbounds from the baseline to Eliza West. Eliza West works to the left, puts up the shot, doesn't get it to go, and Arizona with the rebound. Marley Kiles, who just checked in for Arizona, playing the point. Gets up to Sam Thomas. Thomas working against Duffy. She works to the left, driving in, kicks it back out. Kat Wright jacks up from 3, and that one won't go either. So after starting 3 for 3, now Arizona 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Aggies pick up the rebound. Olivia West playing the point, hands off to Eliza West. Eliza West screen set by Bassett, kicks it out, finds an on the wing Brewster, but Brewster's shot hits the rim, bounces over the top of the backboard, and Arizona ball. Utah State really struggling from beyond the arc so far. 0 of 3. Really haven't been able to get much to fall. This season, Utah State has done really well from beyond the arc, but really hasn't shot very much. Shot 53.3% against UC Irvine in the opener, and then just 2 of 12 against Dixie State. Aggies go with the full court press, both the West sisters pressuring. I guess they're not sisters, but the West girls pressuring. Arizona breaks through the press. Here's Eliza West. Eliza West goes out left for Gear. Gear dumps it in for Bassett. Bassett working her way. Strong move inside. Bassett puts it up. Can't get it to go. Duffy's there fighting for the rebound, and she gets fouled as she goes over the back. I'm sorry, she commits a foul as she goes over the back. So her first. Second team foul for the Aggies. Arizona to inbound. 21-8 is the lead. Utah State has only made 1 of their last 8 shots. So really struggling on offense. So Marley Kiles gets the ball stolen away by Olivia West. But looks like there's a little bit of a shot clock operation error. And Arizona's going to get the ball back because of it. It's kind of a tough break for the Aggies there. 21-8, Arizona lead. Arizona with the inbound. Sam Thomas inbounds to Marley Kiles. Kiles working against Olivia West, who's been so persistent on defense. Kiles just steps back towards half court. Screen set by Graham. Graham actually steps off. Kiles just going to drive in, take it herself. Doesn't get it to go with the right-handed hook. And Duffy picks up the rebound. Back in transition, Olivia West gets under the hoop. Gets a nice lay-in, but doesn't get it to go. Fights for the rebound. And she's going to be called with the foul as she just got a little bit too aggressive fighting for it. So Olivia West picks up her first, and Arizona will have the ball back. The only player with more than 2 for the Aggies is Shannon Duffy with 4. Arizona with Sam Thomas at point. Thomas finds Kyles at the wing. Kyles working her way against Olivia West. Just drives in up to the right side. Is fouled as she goes up. Looks like the foul, I believe, on Bassett. No, foul on Olivia West. So that's her second. Picks up 2 in a matter of seconds. First game of the season when Olivia West went off for 32 points against UC Irvine. Had to leave with about 5 minutes left in the game because of foul trouble. Got fouled out early on, and that's really what cost Utah State the game, is Olivia and Eliza West both fouling out. So Kyle's first shot goes, extending that Arizona lead, already 22-8. Second shot coming up for Kyle's. This one doesn't go, but Arizona picks up the rebound. Nobody was there to box out Sam Thomas. And they're just going to reset things to Alonzo. Alonzo working up against Gear. Moves into the left side, kicks it out to the corner, finds an open player in the corner. Marley Kyle shot it up from 3, didn't get it to go. And so Utah State gets it, taking it from out of bounds now. So coming back, here's Olivia West. Sorry, Eliza West kicks out to Olivia West. Back to Eliza. She's working up the right side, double teamed. Kicks it out, finds an open Olivia West. Arizona thought she traveled. No call. Finds Brewster open at the top of that arch, but her shot doesn't go. Arizona grabs the rebound. Utah State now 0 of 4 from 3 to start things out. 44 seconds remain. Alonzo, top of the arc. Finds Bennett, back to Alonzo. Alonzo thought about shooting it. Instead, she's going to drive in. She traveled, though, on the move as she tried to work her way in. So turnover on Arizona. Aggies will take over. 34.4 remaining on the clock, 30 on the shot clock, of course. So 4-second differential there. Utah State trailing 22-8. Aggies shooting just 4 of 18. No, haven't scored in nearly 4 minutes. So Eliza West dribbling things out, 14 on the shot clock. Kicks it out to the right for Jesse Gear at the wing. Gear to Brewster. Back out to Eliza West. Olivia West going to jack it up from 3 at the wing, and it goes in. Rolled around the rim and finally falls. Utah State finds their first three-pointer. And Arizona's just going to jack one up from full court before the buzzer sounds. Marley Kyles couldn't get it to go. So at the end of the first quarter, Utah State brought it in a little bit, but still trailing 22-11. We're going to take a break here and come back with the second quarter action for you in just a moment. And welcome back. Utah State trailing to Arizona early on after one quarter, 11-22. Hot start for the Wildcats. Shot 9 of 16 in the first quarter, and 3 of 7 from beyond the arc to Utah State, shooting just 5 of 19. Olivia West leading the way with 5 points for Utah State. And on the flip side for Arizona, Sam Thomas leading the way with 7. We're back in Arizona with the ball. Graham at the top of the key, kicks it back out. Another 3 goes up by Arizona, but Sammy Fotkin couldn't get it to go. And Utah State with the rebound. Gear kicks it, finds Eliza West. Eliza West gets inside, finds Brewster, who can't get her first points. Yeah, she went up for the layup. But Arizona gets the rebound, and then right off the rebound, Brewster called on the foul. Brewster 0 of 5 start to tonight's game. Does have a couple of rebounds, but not the way she would have liked to start. Aggies sticking with the full court press, as we've seen so much so far this season. Arizona just gets past half court, but Jessie Gear takes it away from Bennett. Jessie Gear goes back for the lay-in, but she's blocked on the way up by Bennett. And Aggies grab the rebound. Coach Finkbeiner furious, feels like they got fouled. Could have, no call though. And back in transition, Kyle shoots from 3. Doesn't get it to go. Aggies grab the rebound. Olivia West gonna slow things down. Still 22-11. Brewster out to Eliza West. Eliza West behind the arc, gets the screen set from Bassett. Bassett gets it at the elbow, works her way in, a beautiful move into the post to get the Aggies a couple more points. Haley Bassett picks up her first of the night. So Kyle's at point for Arizona. Kicks it out. Fotkin to Alonzo. Graham sets the screen for Alonzo against Gear. Doesn't take it. Back out to Fotkin. 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Screen set high. Alonzo driving in. Gets it up over over Bassett, but doesn't go. Aggies grab the rebound and trying to close things in. Gear's going to fire from the corner, and she gets it to go. Jessie Gear puts up 3 more, and Aggies pulling back within just a few points. 22-16 now. Aggies on a 5-0 run. Now, if you remember last year's game, as Arizona gets caught up by the press again, Bassett was there, gets the steal, and back in transition, Brewster picks up her first point. So 7-0 run by Utah State, 22-18 now. That 11-point lead sure shrunk quickly as Utah State playing very aggressive on defense and getting themselves back in it. If you watched last year's game between these two teams down in Arizona, that was a game that was really tight for most of it. And then end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, Arizona pulled away, got a massive lead. They got up by 16 points. They were up 54-38. Then Utah State went on a 19-7 run to pull it up. Ended up losing by 4. But Utah State was very resilient in that one. We've seen that here in the second quarter so far today. So great little run by Utah State. Surprisingly, these two teams have faced off a handful of times throughout their history, 13 times. And I bet you couldn't guess which team is in the lead. It's actually Utah State with an 8-5 series lead over Arizona. Most of those games, of course, coming back in the 80s, though, as they haven't played much in recent years. So Arizona 22-18 lead. Leading scorer for the Wildcats is Sam Thomas with 7. Leading the way for Utah State, Olivia West with 5. But you've got already 6 different Aggie players on the board. So teams breaking the huddle. And we're going to be back at it in just a moment. 7:55 to go in second quarter. Arizona, an interesting team because, as I mentioned, they only have 3 players coming back off of last year's squad. They're bringing in 10 newcomers. But when you look at the future for this team, it's absolutely ridiculous. Looking down the road, they have the number 4 recruiting class in the nation for next year. Got a handful of 5-star recruits, a couple of 4-star recruits, some of the best players in the whole country committing to Arizona right now. So Coach Barnes for the Wildcats has to be happy with the future of this program in just her second season. So ball back in, Arizona ball. Alonzo a point. Alonzo at the wing, thought about shooting, instead kicks over to Kyles at the other wing. Kyles dumps it inside for Bennett. Back out to Alonzo. Alonzo at the free throw line jacks it out to Kyles. Kyles going to shoot it up from 3. Doesn't hit rim. Jessie Gear was there for the rebound but couldn't wrangle it in. So that goes out of bounds off of Gear. Arizona will throw it in from the baseline. Looks like Arizona going to make a substitution now as Destiny Graham going to check back in place of Marlee Kyles. Destiny Graham, 4 points on the night. So she's going to check back in at the junior forward. She was scored her career high in that last game against Iona. Scored 15 in that game. Big boost for Arizona. The Arizona ball in the corner is Jalea Bennett. Bennett works off a screen, puts one up over Bassett. Doesn't get it to go, but Graham is there for the rebound. Graham shoots it, gets her own rebound again. And she's double teamed. Bassett takes it away. Aggies grab yet another steal, and Jessie Gear brings it back over half court. Utah State now only trailing by 4, 7:08 remaining. Jessie Gear at the point, kicks it out. Eliza West at the wing. Eliza West setting things up, gets the screen from Brewster, kicks it out to Bassett. Bassett fires from 3 and gets it to go. Haley Bassett brings the Aggies within 1 point. Utah State on a 10-0 run. Haley Bassett really struggled from behind the arc. 4 of 21 last season, but she comes up with one at a big time for Utah State to make it a 1-point game. Arizona Cat right up above the arc, kicks it out, finds. You see Alonzo. Alonzo goes back to reset things with Bennett. Bennett working against Brewster. Gets it to Graham, who kicks it right back to Bennett. Bennett fires from 3, hits the bank. I don't think she called it, but it goes in. And Arizona breaks the 10-0 run by Utah State, now going up 25-21. Eliza West working her way in, got fouled as she tried to make something happen near the baseline. So foul called on Arizona's Jalea Bennett. That's Bennett's second. Aggies inbound from the baseline. Brewster gets it out top to Eliza West. Eliza West into Bassett. Bassett gets the screen set by West on her way in. Shoots from about 15, doesn't get it to go. Arizona picks up the rebound. Alonzo was there for it. They're going to slow things down. Cat right, kicks it back to Alonzo. Alonzo setting up the play, working against Eliza West. Eliza West goes in for the steal, doesn't get it. And up to the top is Thomas. Thomas out to the corner, finds Cat right. Right for 3, gets it to go. A couple straight 3-pointers for Arizona, bringing them back up to a 28-21 lead. Wildcats shooting 5 of 12 from beyond the arc. So they're going to live and die by the 3-point shot. On the other side, Brewster gets open off the screen, shoots from about 20 feet, and knocks it down. A beautiful shot by Rachel Brewster, just her second make of the night. And Utah State now trailing 28-23, 5:15 remaining in the half. He's right up against Gear. Right goes to Bennett. Bennett shoots from 3, and this one doesn't go. But Graham grabs the rebound. Aggies getting killed on the offensive glass by Arizona. Having a hard time wrangling those in. And so Arizona scores off the easy lay-in. Eliza West gives it over to Brewster. Brewster back to West. West out to Olivia West near the wings. Screen set by Brewster. Gets West open. She's going to give it back to Brewster. 9 on the shot clock. Brewster working her way up the baseline. Kicks it out. Corner 3 from Jessie Gear. This one airballs. Just hit one from the other corner. Couldn't get this one to go. So Arizona grabs the rebound. Sam Thomas was there for it. 4:26 remaining. 30-23 Arizona in the lead. Sam Thomas out to right. Right kicks it in for Bennett. Bennett gets a nice looking shot but doesn't fall. She went too far. Aggies grab the rebound. Eliza West kicks it out to the corner, finds Jessie Gear again, and Jessie Gear knocks this one down. Knocked one down a minute ago, shot another and airballed it, but gets this one. So Jessie Gear with 3 quick corner threes and gets 2 of them. In the other way, Arizona's going to knock down a 3 of their own. Right. Cat Wright was there for it, knocked it down from the wing, so it's become a little bit of a 3-point shootout here in the last few minutes. And Jessie Gear's going to get another wide open 3 from the corner. This one doesn't fall. A couple Aggies there fighting for the rebound, and Rachel Brewster hits the floor hard. Luckily hops right back up. Foul called on Arizona. A bunch of substitutions coming in as Deja Mason, Shannon Duffesey, and Emmy Harris all checking in for the Aggies. Arizona a few substitutions of their own. Utah State will have the inbound after the foul. as West inbounds to Harris. Harris finds Gear, top of the arc. Gear walked as she tried to get it out to Duffy. So turnover on Utah State, trailing 33-26. Arizona ball on the inbound in the backcourt. Aggies going with the full court press. It's Duffy and Harris back to put on some pressure. Arizona brings it across half court. Up near the wing. Alonzo kicks it out to the other wing for Wright. Wright finds Graham at the free throw line and knocks it down. Arizona extending that lead again, 35-26. So Utah State pulled it within just a point, and Arizona now back out to a 9-point lead. 3:13 remaining. Olivia West to Emmy Harris. Harris up to Duffy, out to Gear, top of the arc. Gear finds Deja Mason at the elbow. Mason didn't want to shoot. Instead, she gets it out to Olivia West, and Olivia West knocks down the three for Utah State. Utah State, not the kind of team you'd think would get in a three-point battle after not shooting much in the first couple of games, but they're holding their own and answering when necessary. Fotkin at the wing going up against Olivia West. Finds Wright. Arizona slows things down. Wright going to jack it up from three, and another three goes in for Arizona. 38-29. Three ball after three ball. Arizona shooting 7 of 15 from beyond the arc. 46%. We'll see if the Aggies answer with one of their own. Instead, Emmy Harris tries to work up the baseline. It's stolen away, and heads-up play on Arizona's Sam Thomas to poke it away. Couldn't quite save it from going out of bounds. Actually, looks like she did, so Arizona going to have it. Jumped out of bounds and pushed it back off of Emmy Harris to earn the turnover. So Arizona coming back. This is Alonzo. Alonzo tries to get it in, but it's stolen away by Eliza West. Intercepted in the lane. And in transition to stop a Utah State transition bucket. Looks like foul called on Graham. So Arizona's Graham picks up, I believe that's just her first. Actually make that her second. And Aggies will have the ball. Leading the way for Arizona, Kat Wright with 12 points, 4 of 6 shooting. 4 of 6, all 4 of those from behind the arc. So Kat Wright just automatic from behind three tonight. So Deja Mason tries to get it in for Duffy, but it's stolen away by Arizona. Quick hands by the Wildcats inside the lane. Alonzo works off the screen from Thomas out to the left. Finds Wright at the arc. Wright's going to shoot it. Doesn't get this one to go, so Kat Wright was 4 of 6, but misses that one, make it 4 of 7. Heat check there for Arizona, and in transition, Emmy Harris comes flying into the lane and gets the lay-in for Utah State. Now 38-31, a minute 24 remaining in the first quarter. In the second quarter. Sia Alonzo tries to get it out to Thomas. Utah State puts on the pressure, can't quite come up with the steal. Instead, they get it into Graham. Graham working against Mason, kicks it out to the corner. Corner three goes up. Sammy Fotkin couldn't get it to go. And Utah State going to get the rebound as Arizona's called with the foul, fighting for it. Oh, Utah State called on the foul. Sorry, Emmy Harris got a little too aggressive on it. Olivia was going to check in place of Emmy Harris. And it looks like also coming in for Utah State, Lindsey Jensen in place of Deja Mason. So Jensen getting her first action of the night. Arizona inbound from the baseline. Goes up high to right, and Lindsey Jensen immediately called with a foul. Didn't even get in for 5 seconds before she was called with her first. So 38-31, Arizona lead, just a minute 2 remaining. Arizona's inbound. Fotkin tries to go up for the lay-in, and instead is blocked. Beautiful block there by Haley Bassett. Haley Bassett playing phenomenal defense so far tonight for Utah State. Arizona the inbound from the baseline. Gives it to Alonzo outside the arc. Alonzo to Fotkin at the corner. Fotkin up against Olivia West. Screen set. She works off the screen, tries to get it out to the other corner. Tight defense by Duffy. Utah State wanted to travel on Alonzo, but no foul called. 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Alonzo driving her way in. She definitely walked on that one. And officials call that one. So turnover by Arizona. 37.6 on the clock. 29 on the shot, so just 7 or 8 seconds dividing those. And 38-31 lead for Arizona. Duffy working her way up the baseline, tries to get it to Bassett. Arizona playing aggressive, and they're going to be called on the foul as they fought to steal it. I believe that's going to go, yeah, that goes on, looks like that goes on Haley Bassett, actually, of Utah State. So Arizona will have the ball up 38-31, 23 seconds remaining, so shot clock is turned off. Sam Thomas will inbound far in the Arizona backcourt. Goes into Fotkin. Aggies with the full court press. Now they're going to lay off of it. 17 on the game clock and the shot clock, as the shot clock was turned off. Alonzo over near the wing outside the arc. Alonzo finds right at the top, and it's taken away by Duffy. Aggies coming back. They only have 2 seconds. Get it across half court. Eliza West shoots it up from a long ways and doesn't get it to go. Somewhere between half court and the three-point line. Shot it hit rim. Looked like a decent shot, but that doesn't fall. So Arizona going to head to the halftime locker room, leading 38-31. Leading scorer for Arizona is Kat Wright with 12. All of her points coming from behind the three-point arc. Leading scorer for Utah State so far, Olivia West, 8 points on 3 of 7 shooting. So we're going to take a halftime break. We'll go to some music here on Aggie Radio, and we'll come back with a few minutes remaining in halftime and have the second half ready for you here at Utah State. All right, first half underway between the Utah State Aggies and the Arizona Wildcats. Arizona with a 38-31 lead, but Utah State made a lot of progress there in the second quarter to get back in it. At the end of the first, it was Arizona 22, Utah State 11, and Utah State outscored them 20-16 in the second period. So much more of what we'd hope to see and expect to see from this Utah State team in the second period. For Arizona, just three-point shooting clinic. Sort of started to get a little colder towards the end of the first half, but shooting 7 of 17. Just a ridiculous amount of three-pointers in the first half from the Wildcats. Utah State shot 11 of their own, making 5. Leading the way for Arizona is Kat Wright, who has 4 of 6 three-pointers for 12 points. I'm sorry, 4 of 7 for 12 points. Kat Wright shot 40% from beyond the arc last season and knocked down 87 threes in her junior year. She's a transfer from Florida Atlantic, making an immediate impact on this Arizona squad this year. This is an Arizona team, as I talked about. They finished 5-13 last season, and that was in conference play, 14-16 overall. But they should be much improved this year with so many talented young players on this squad. They really had a pretty solid recruiting class coming in last season, and we're certainly seeing that against Utah State so far today. The Aggies shooting 40% as a team on 13 of 32 shooting. Leading the way is Olivia West with 8 points. Rachel Brewster has 6 rebounds. Kind of a quiet night from her from the field, just 2 of 8 shooting, but making it up in the rebounding game. And Eliza West, 6 assists for Utah State as well. So Aggies really made a nice little run there to start out the second quarter, went on a 10-0 run to bring things a bit closer and give them a little bit of a chance. We'll see if they're able to come out of the second half with the same energy and see what they're able to do here in the third quarter. Arizona in a tough position. Their top returning player from last year's squad only averaged 6.9 points per game, and they only bring back 16 points per game total from last year's team. But they've certainly found an identity as a three-point shooting team, or at least that's what we're seeing from them tonight. And it'll be interesting to see if they stick with that throughout the entire season. And when they're shooting as well as they have been, why not? Last year in the game between Utah State and Arizona, only Graham and Alonzo for Arizona, those were the only 2 players that have played against Utah State. So even though these 2 teams played a year ago, Lucia Alonzo and Destiny Graham, those are the only 2 Wildcats who have played the Aggies before. So kind of a weird little dynamic there. Before the game, in the pregame interview that we heard here on Aggie Radio with Coach Finkbeiner, he talked about the importance of adjustments during the game. It was the same kind of thing against UC Irvine. Utah State was playing a team with only a few players returning, and you just don't have a ton on film from them, and so you have to adjust and adjust and adjust throughout the game, and I think that's what caught Utah State so off guard there in the first quarter. Second quarter looked much better for the Aggies, though. So second half underway, Utah State with possession, trailing 38-31. Eliza West at point guard. She gets it to Brewster into Mason, kicks it back outside the three-point arc. Top of the arc, here's Eliza West. Finds Olivia West at the wing. Olivia West steps over, hands it to Duffy at the corner. Duffy shoots a 3, doesn't get it to go, grabs her own rebound, and hands it off to Mason. Mason couldn't get the short jumper to go. It's about 3 feet out and still came up short. And Arizona grabs the rebound. So Alonzo kicks it over, finds the wing with Kat Wright. Right to Bennett. Bennett to Thomas. Thomas dumps it inside for Bennett. Beautiful move there, and the cut in by Bennett scores for Arizona. 40-31 Wildcat lead. Brewster decides to slow things down and give it back out to Olivia West. Olivia West working up against Alonzo. Screen set, and she kicks it out. Finds Duffy, who shoots from just inside the arc, and that does not go. And the rebound just bounces out of bounds. So Arizona will throw it in from the baseline. Aggies sticking with the full court press. Got a few steals off of it in the first half. Saw it work really well against Dixie State. Of course, Arizona a little bit more of an established team. It's tough to make the full court press work against a good team like Arizona. So from the baseline, Destiny Graham puts up about a 15-foot jump shot, doesn't get it to go. Bassett was there for the rebound. Bassett starting out the second half after coming off the bench in the first. Eliza West works off the screen from Bassett. Bassett cuts in, but she kicks it out instead to Brewster. Brewster gets it into Bassett. Bassett tries to go up, but she's blocked. Long arms of Sam Thomas there in the lane, stopping it. And so Arizona takes over. Alonzo at point working against Brewster. Alonzo finds a cutting right at the baseline, and Wright picks up a couple of easy points. Arizona offense looking really good to start out this second half, and Utah State still unable to get anything going. So Eliza West starts to drive, instead kicks it out to Brewster. Brewster fires from three, doesn't get it to go, and Arizona's Cat Wright there for the rebound. Gets it over to Alonzo. Alonzo working against Olivia West. Goes to Thomas. Thomas, top of the arc. Thomas dumps it in. Finds Bennett. Bennett turns around. Doesn't get it to go. Brewster grabs yet another rebound. Brewster already 7 on the night. Having a great night on the boards. And in the corner, Eliza West jacks it up. Can't get it to go. Rebound goes long. And picked up Jalea Bennett. Utah State shooting just 5 of 14 behind the arc. Back the other way, Jalea Bennett near the wing. Goes out to Alonzo. Arizona slowing down from beyond the arc this quarter, but they shoot one here from the corner. As Bennett couldn't get it to go, but Arizona grabs their own rebound. Great offensive rebound there by Sam Thomas. Alonzo, top of the arc, resets things. Screen set. Destiny Graham with the screen gets Alonzo wide open from the wing, jacks up another three and gets this one to go. Arizona extending that lead, 45-31. Rough start for the Aggies, 7-0 run by Arizona in this quarter. And it looks like timeout going to be called by Coach Finkbeiner, heading to the huddle. So Utah State 31-45, trailing Arizona. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment. Utah State yet to lead in this one. Arizona's had control of the entire game so far, now leading 45-31 with 6:12 to play here in the third quarter. Hot start to the third quarter for Arizona, going on a 7-0 run, forcing Coach Finkbeiner to call a timeout. And we'll see if Utah State's able to get something going. Still haven't scored a point in this half. So Utah State with the inbound, goes to Bassett. Bassett out to Brewster, and Brewster knocks down a three from the wing to bring Utah State now within 11 and getting Utah State's first points of the second half. Rachel Brewster finds that's her 7th point, first from beyond the arc, and Utah State goes with the full court press, forcing the turnover as Kyles wasn't able to hold on to it, and Utah State comes up with another turnover on defense. Good job by the Aggies. playing up high. Utah State inbounds it. Here's Brewster. Brewster gives it off to Eliza West near the wing. Goes out to Duffy. Duffy out to the corner. Tries to find Olivia West, but it's just too high. Olivia West, just 5'6", and it's just over her head. So turnover by Utah State. Utah State really doing a pretty good job on the turnover game. Only 8 so far tonight to Arizona's 11. So taking control of the ball, taking care of the ball. And as I say that, Arizona looks like Aggies thought it was a turnover, but looks like must have been deflected out by a Utah State player. Went for the steal, couldn't quite get it. And Arizona will retain possession. So Thomas will inbound for the Wildcats. Thomas gets it to Alonzo. Alonzo working against Olivia West. Up high. Olivia West tries to poke it away, but Alonzo holds on to it. Aggies really going for the steal a lot. Screen set by Graham. Graham cutting back in, gets the pass, and is fouled as she tries to go up by Bassett. It's Bassett's 3rd foul. Actually, just her 2nd foul. But Lindsey Graham going to head to the line. Destiny Graham, I'm sorry, heading to the line. Graham knocks down her first. 46-34, Arizona lead. After that free throw, one more to come. Destiny Graham, the junior forward for Arizona, knocks down the second as well. She's coming off a career-high 15 points against Iona. Has 10 tonight, so well on her way. Liza West gets it to Bassett. Bassett turns around and shoots from about 10 feet. Doesn't get it to go from the elbow. Arizona with the rebound. Alonzo tries to speed things up, but Utah State has numbers. So she steps back. Alonzo gets it into Graham. Graham on the baseline, can't get it to go. I think Haley Bassett might have gotten her hand on it. And Utah State coming back in transition. Rachel Brewster drives to the right side. Gets it off the glass. Utah State now just down 11, 47-36 game. Kyles at point for Arizona, drives, going up to the left. She's fouled. Oh, it looks like offensive foul. So foul goes against Kyles as she drove. And Utah State got to make a substitution after that. Deja Mason coming in as is. Looks like they're also going to send in Laura Dalton. But timeout is called, so it will be just a moment until they come back in. 4:27 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Utah State this quarter started out being outscored 7-0. Since then, they've only been outscored. They've gotten 5-2, so coming back a little bit, though they still trail by 11. Again, when these two teams played last season, Utah State did trail through most of the entire game, made an enormous run at the end to almost bring it back, still lost by 4. And we'll see if Utah State has what it takes tonight. So Utah State shooting just 36% from the field on 15 of 41. Really the biggest hindrance to the Aggies game so far. And Arizona on the flip side shooting 45% on 18 of 40 shots. So Utah State, I'm sure that's one of the things that Coach Finkbeiner probably preaching to his team right now. From 3, it's been pretty even, of 42% from Arizona to 40% by Utah State, although Arizona has taken 4 more threes than the Aggies. But really the other thing killing Utah State right now is the rebounding. Arizona with 29 to Utah State's 21, and of those 29, 10 of them being offensive. So Arizona getting a lot of second looks. And that's kind of been rough for Utah State. Leading the way for Utah State is Rachel Brewster with 9 points. She started to warm up here lately, 7 rebounds as well for the junior. Leading the way for Arizona is Kat Wright. Wright has 14 points, 4 of 7 from 3-point line for Wright. So teams breaking the huddle. Utah State will have the ball coming out of that timeout. Aggies inbound, trailing 47-36. So Eliza West at point gets it to Olivia West. Olivia West tries to shoot from 3, but it's blocked by Thomas. Aggies grab it off the block, get it inside to Duffy. Duffy tries to put it up, and that's blocked as well. So swarming defense by the Wildcats there to force a Utah State scoreless possession. Back the other way, Alonzo working up high all around the top of the arc. Gets it up to right wide open from three. Doesn't get it to go from the top. And Utah State picks up the rebound. Duffy was there for it. Coming back here is Eliza West. Eliza West dumps it back out. Olivia West driving in. Shoots it from about 10. Doesn't get it to go. Deja Mason fighting for the rebound. Can't get it. Hits the floor. And Wright takes over instead. Utah State defense doing a really nice job. But the offense just not able to get anything going. Arizona hasn't scored in nearly 3 minutes. Unfortunately for the Aggies, it's been a little while for them as well. So neither team able to find a rhythm. And as we see when Lucia Alonzo steps back about a foot or two behind the free throw line and jacks up a shot wide open and air balls. So the crowd going to let her have it for that one. Utah State takes over, trailing 11. Here's Eliza West working her way up the left side, puts up the lefty off the glass, and it goes. Aggies now just down 9, 2:55 remaining in the third quarter. Full court press, Eliza West nearly forces a turnover, but Arizona sure-handed keeps possession. High pressure coming from the Aggies as Alonzo trying to work her way inside. Alonzo gives it over to Wright, top of the arc. Wright gets it poked by Mason, but again holds on to it. They find Graham. Graham turns around from 10 feet, can't get it to go. Arizona grabs their own rebound, though. Another offensive rebound for the Wildcats, and they get a wide open at the top of the arc. Alonzo, and she knocks it down from 3 to go up 50-38. Arizona 9 of 21 from that three-point line. Deja Mason has it at the free throw line, and foul called off the ball on, looks like that's going to go on Marley Kyles of Arizona. So second team foul here in the quarter, and that's Kyle's second foul as well. Inbound goes to Duffy, and she's fouled right away as she gets it near the baseline. Foul this time going on Thomas. Thomas just got a little bit aggressive on defense. And Aggie's going to have another inbound from the baseline. Olivia West to inbound. Olivia West finds Eliza West in the corner. Thought about a shot. Instead, she's going to try and drive. Nice move on the dribble. Kicks it out to Duffy at the top of the arc. Duffy's going to drive up the left side and gets it to go off the glass. Aggies down 10, 50-40, 1:58 remaining in the third quarter. Full court press. Arizona breaks it, though, gets across half court. Kyles working against Mason. Kyles comes up the left side and beats Mason off the dribble to score for Arizona. Aggies take things fast, and Brewster going to shoot right in transition on the turnaround. Doesn't get it to go. Brewster having a tough night, 4 of 12 now from the field. Arizona with the rebound, and Alonzo has it now, dribbling around the top of the arc. Gets it to Kyles. Kyles screen set. High by Graham. Kyle's lost the ball for a second, picks it back up, though, and shoots a 3. Doesn't get it to go. Aggies with the rebound as Duffy was there. And in transition, they find Brewster under the hoop. Brewster puts it in, bringing the Aggies once again down 10. 1:04 remaining on the clock here in the third quarter. Aggies full court press. Brewster tries against Thomas. Thomas steps across half court. Alonzo high, works her way up to the three-point line. Out in the corner, here's Sam Thomas. Sam Thomas gets it into Graham. Graham has it poked away, but Arizona gets it again. Left side, 3 coming up from the corner. Doesn't go. Shot by Lucia Alonzo, couldn't fall. Aggies with the rebound, bringing it back. 33 remaining, and Eliza West just drives towards the hoop. Puts it up from the other side, and the layup won't fall. Arizona with the rebound. They're going to slow it down in transition as there's just about a half a second between the shot and the game clock. 19 to go. So they're just going to hold on for the last shot here. Up high right, kicks it out to the left. Gets it to Kyles. Kyles back. And driving in is Alonzo. Alonzo against Duffy, can't get it to go. Aggies have it. 4 seconds remaining. Flying back the other way. West going to shoot it up. Olivia West's shot from just beyond the three-point line doesn't fall as time expires. So heading into the third quarter break, Utah State will trail 52-42. Utah State in the third quarter being outscored 14-13. We're going to head to a break, and we'll come back in just a moment with the rest of the action. One quarter remaining here at the Glenn-Smith Spectrum with Arizona up 52-42 over the Utah State. Utah State making it more of a game after a rough first quarter, but still unable to pull it closer than about 7 or 8 points. Just kind of been hanging out in that 7 to 15 point range, trailing Arizona. Thanks for tuning into the game here on Aggie Radio as well as Mountain West Network and AggieRadio.com. I'm Jaden Johnson. We're going to have every game for you this season. So Utah State trailing by 10. Arizona inbounds the ball to start out the fourth quarter. Wright dumps it into Bennett. Bennett tries to find Alonzo. Alonzo tips it. Arizona still holds on to it. 13 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to reset things up to the top of the arc. Alonzo gets the screen set by Graham. And she's just going to jack it up from 3. Gets it to go over Eliza West. Beautiful shot, putting Arizona up 13, 55-42 lead. Arizona has shot 24 three-pointers this game, made 10 of them. Bassett, top of the arc, goes over to the right for Eliza West. Eliza West out to Olivia West at the wing. Olivia West steps in a few feet, shoots it. Bassett fights for the offensive rebound, but it's poked away. And foul called as Arizona tried to turn things around. Olivia West in the wrong spot at the wrong time. So foul called on her. Kyles hits the ground kind of hard. Luckily, she's able to hop back up. Looks like she will possibly remain in the game. Kind of walking slow. Always hate to see that. So sub going to come in for Kyles. Sam Thomas will check in as Kyles is walking awful slow towards the bench. Got to hope she's okay. Kyles 3 points on the night in 13 minutes. Arizona inbounds, gets past half court. And here's Alonzo. Alonzo double teamed. Garen West there fighting for it. Foul called though as they got in a little too tight. No, travel timeout called by Arizona. She got in a little bit of a trouble. So they're going to head to the huddle. We'll take another real quick break. 8:57 remaining here in the fourth quarter, and we'll come back with the rest of the action. All right, welcome back. 8:57 to play here in the fourth quarter. Utah State trailing 55-42. Leading the way for Arizona is Kat Wright with 14 points. And Utah State only one player in double figures. That's Rachel Brewster with 11. So to start things off, Arizona ball. Just under 9 minutes to go here in today's game. They inbound it. Lucia Alonso works her way left up above the arc. Gets it to Thomas. Thomas working her way up the baseline. Kicks it out. Alonso. Alonso thought about shooting. Instead pumps and she shoots. I believe Utah State may have gotten a piece of it, but it didn't hit anything. And shot clock violation called on Arizona. So turnover there by the Wildcats. Aggies take over trailing by 13. Eliza West goes to Bassett. Bassett coming up the baseline. Bassett turns around. She's fouled as she shoots, so she's going to head to the free throw line for a couple. Really not many free throws in this game at all. Utah State hasn't shot a single free throw so far tonight. This will be their first of the game, and Arizona's only shot 5. So not many fouls called on either team. Bassett's first shot hits the back of the rim and bounces out. That's no good. Utah State's still down 13. Haley Bassett, the sophomore forward, had 15 against Dixie. Second shot doesn't go either. Haley Bassett, 5 points on the night. Arizona gets the rebound, and they're coming back. Thomas, Gear jumped up on Thomas, trying to steal it, but Thomas held on to the ball. Instead, they're going to get a shot from near the corner. Kat Wright can't get it to go. Kat Wright's been on fire from behind the three-point line, but misses that one. Instead, in transition, here comes Olivia West, who puts it up from the corner, and that one falls. Olivia West puts it up for Utah State. Now 11 on the night, 3 of 7 from behind the arc. But flying back the other way, they find a cherry picker, Bennett, under the hoop. Bennett's layup won't go as Utah State put up a little bit of pressure. And in the other direction, Eliza West drives right at the hoop at about 1 on 3 and doesn't get it to go. Arizona with the rebound. Utah State trailing by 10, 55-45, 7:32 to go. And high press by Utah State forces the 10-second violation. Alonso couldn't quite get it over half court, so the whistle sounds, and that's a turnover on Arizona. Utah State's full court press starting to click. So Aggies take over at midcourt. Inbound to Eliza West. Trying to close in this gap. It's been at 10 for quite a while now, or around there. Eliza West finds Olivia West, top of the arc. Olivia West driving up to the right. And her right-handed shot hits the back of the glass and falls. Aggies now trailing 55-47. Let's see if they've got a run in them. Alonso has it. Let's see if Arizona can get across midcourt. This time they do, as she finds Graham. Graham goes out to the corner for Bennett, and Bennett goes back up for Alonso outside the arc. Thomas at the top of the arc. Goes over to the left for Wright. Wright tries to dump it in, but goes over the fingertips of Destiny Graham. Destiny Graham's 6'3", but the pass was still just a little too high and goes out of bounds. Turnover on Arizona. It's really been their downfall tonight if they have any. Turnovers for Arizona, 15 already on the night. Arizona hasn't scored in about 3 minutes now. Let's see if Utah State offense can make things happen. Eliza West at the top of the arc. Goes out to the right, finds Duffy open in the corner for 3, shoots and hits the back of the rim, doesn't go. Arizona with the rebound as Alonso gathered it in. Arizona brings it across half court. Kyle's driving, slows things down, steps back. 20 on the shot clock. Kyle's beats Gear. Gear went for the steal, and she gets a wide open 3, but doesn't make it. And the ball goes out of bounds. A little bit of fight over who it was deflected off of, but looks like they're going to say it was off of Utah State. So Arizona going to retain possession with a baseline throw-in. Duffy comes and checks out for the time being as Bassett checks in. And right away picks up a rebound as Arizona couldn't get a lay-in to fall. So Utah State trailing by 8. Trying to close that up even more. Olivia West thought about shooting from the wing. Instead slows it down. She's double teamed, and Bennett pokes it away. Now Bennett and West fighting for it. Jump ball called. That was a very quick jump ball call. Both players got their hands on it, and immediately the whistle sound, but it does go in Utah State's favor. So Aggies will have the inbound. 5:59 remaining. 55-47 Arizona lead. Liza West will inbound it near midcourt after the jump ball. Finds Bassett. Bassett going to drive it in, spins to the left. She walked as she worked her way towards the hoop, though. And so turnover there by Utah State, their 10th of the night. Arizona takes over. Full court press by the Aggies. Gear working up high on Bennett. But they break it by passing it up to Kyles. Alonzo outside the wing. Gets it back to Bennett at the top. Top of the arc, Bennett looking. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it to Graham. Graham works her way in. Is fouled as she goes up. Shot doesn't go, but she's going to head to the line for two. Foul going to go on Haley Bassett. That's Haley Bassett's second. So Arizona has missed their last 4 field goals. And they've turned the ball over 3 times in the last 4 minutes. Haven't scored during that time. But as the first free throw goes down for Graham, that breaks this scoreless streak of 4 minutes and 4 seconds for Arizona. Arizona now 56-47. One more shot coming up for Graham. And Graham knocks down another. Graham set her career high 15 against Iona. She has 12 tonight. So back the other way. Eliza West kicks it out to Gear. Gear from 3 at the wing. Hits the rim, bounces up, and doesn't go. Graham hit the floor really hard, and she still hasn't gotten back up, so there's going to be a official timeout call. They're going to run out, take a look at Graham. She really hit the floor. Very hard fighting for the rebound. So Aggie's going to huddle up, and trainers running out. Take a look at Graham. 5:17 remaining, and Arizona has a 10-point lead, 57-47. Graham with 12 points on the night for Arizona. 9 rebounds, 2 assists. And it's just something you always hate to see. So while the Arizona offense has really slowed down and had a hard time getting things going this quarter, as I mentioned, they haven't made a field goal in nearly 4.5 minutes. On the flip side, Utah State really hasn't been able to take advantage of it and still trail just by 10. If they're going to cut the lead, that was probably the time to do it. Let's see if they have an offensive explosion in them, because that's what it's going to take to get back in it, trailing by 10 with just over 5 minutes to go. So Graham, luckily able to walk off on her own strength. Got a bit shaken up, but we're about ready to resume play. And Arizona has it as they inbound it, get it to Thomas. Thomas just going to take it coast to coast as she breaks the press and gets the shot to go. Easy shot for Thomas. Press failed for Utah State, and coming back here's Eliza West. Kicks out to Olivia West, but as she passed it, walked. And Utah State turns it over, now down 12, 5:01 on the clock. Kind of get the feeling that it's do or die time for Utah State. Alonzo gets it up to Sam Thomas. Sam Thomas still not across half court. She finally gets it with a few seconds to spare. Bennett goes out for Kyles near the baseline. Kyles just going to dribble it back out outside the arc. And 12 seconds on the shot clock. Arizona clearly trying to use as much as they can. Alonzo near the top of the arc. 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4. She's driving into the left side, puts up the lefty and off the back of the glass, gets it to go. 14-point lead now for Arizona. Aggies haven't scored in almost 3 minutes. Here's Olivia West. Tries to pass it to Eliza West and it's poked away by Alonzo. Alonzo trying to make things happen in transition. Instead, they're just going to slow it down. Aggies had 2-on-1 numbers, so smart call by Alonzo. And they're going to be able to chew off a bit more clock here. Aggies playing high, aggressive defense, and they're going to get Olivia West with the foul. She played up high. Audience thought she had a charge on Arizona, but the foul will go against Utah State's West. For Olivia West, that is her 4th foul, so only 1 remaining for her, and looks like Jessie Gear going to come out in place of Lindsey Jensen. Arizona inbounds, 4 minutes to play. 61-47, Wildcat lead. Corner three goes up, and that goes. That might be the dagger. Marley Kyles from the corner knocks it down. Marley Kyles, just her 6-point, her first three-pointer on 6 attempts. Aggies need to make something happen immediately if they want it to happen, and Victoria Price, who just checked in, just goes flying into the lane, tries to put it up from the reverse side, and is fouled as she does so, so Price will head to the line. Foul called on Kat Wright. Yeah, for Kat Wright, that's her first personal foul. So Jensen heading the line, hasn't scored yet tonight, looking for her first. And the first free throw does not fall. Utah State has only shot 3 free throws in tonight's game, but is 0 of 3. Jensen has one more, and this one goes. So Utah State now trailing 64-48. 3:35 left on the clock. Arizona comes flying across half court. Alonzo looking out to the right, gets just too much on the pass, and so that goes out off the baseline, off the fingertips of Kat Wright. Utah State will take over. 3:30 on the clock. Maybe an insurmountable lead, though, as Utah State's still down 64-48. Crazier things have happened, though. Utah State saw a 15-point lead disappear in just 3 minutes against UC Irvine, but they're not going to do it by traveling, as Olivia West is called with the travel, and another turnover by Utah State. Arizona inbounds from the baseline. See if they can get it across half court. 3 Aggies in the backcourt. They get it up to Bennett. Bennett passed up a shot. Instead looks for the corner, and the corner shot goes up by Kyles, doesn't go, but Arizona grabs the offensive rebound. It's kind of been the theme of the night. Arizona 13 offensive rebounds tonight. 3 minutes remaining. Kyles dribbling it out, going up against West. Gets the screen set, top of the arc. Kyles looks out for Wright. Wright tries to get it inside, but Jalea Bennett unable to gather it in. So that goes out of bounds. Utah State takes over. 4:46 on the clock, trailing 64-48. Eliza West gets it in to Bassett. Bassett makes a strong move up, doesn't get it to go, but grabs her on rebound and can't put it up again as it's stolen away. Bassett, a lot of contact on Arizona in the key, but nothing called. Officials really letting them play tonight. Arizona just waiting to close this thing out. Alonzo works her way up towards the elbow, kicks out to Bennett. Bennett's going to try from 3, doesn't get it to go. Bennett now 1 of 5 from behind the arc. Lindsey Jensen driving in on the baseline. Gets fouled as she goes up for the shot. Shot doesn't fall, but she's going to head to the free throw line for 2. A foul called on Kat Wright. That's Wright's second foul. So Lindsey Jensen only has 1 point coming off of a free throw just a few minutes ago, where she went 1 of 2 on a trip to the line. Aggies just their 5th free throw of the night coming up here. And it goes. Shannon Duffesey now checking in for Haley Bassett. Duffesey coming off back-to-back double-doubles. Has 6 points and 8 rebounds tonight. Gonna have a hard time reaching that. Jensen's second shot doesn't go, but she fights for the rebound. And jump ball called. That's gonna go in Arizona's favor, though. Heads up play by Bassett to hop forward and fight for the rebound. Unfortunately for the Aggies, though, jump ball goes against them. So 2:02 remaining. 64-49, 15-point lead for Arizona. They break through half court up to Graham. Graham finds Bennett. Bennett looked to have a layup, but really nice play by Rachel Brewster. Got the steal, and they're going to have the ball. Minute 54 remaining. Ball rolls across half court. Eliza West picks it up. Eliza West out to Jensen, and Jensen tries to pass it to Brewster, but it's stolen away by Kat Wright. So Arizona now 1:40 to play. Out to the corner, they're going to have another three-pointer. Cat Wright doesn't get this one to go. Wright started out on fire. She was 4 of 9. Started out 4 of 5 and has really slowed things down. And ball goes out of bounds. Looks like off Utah State. Crowd disagrees, but Arizona will have the ball from the baseline. Checking in for the Aggies, Laura Dalton. Brewster's going to come out. And it looks like Emmy Harris checking in as well. So they're going to take a look at that out of bounds. It was called against Utah State, so it would be Arizona ball in the case that it stands, but the official's going to take a look at it, see if they can overturn anything. Not that it'll likely make too much of a difference. 64-49 lead for Arizona with 1:33 to play. If you're Utah State, you know, a few positives in this game. I feel like the defense has played pretty well overall. And, you know, you've had a few different players step up. Olivia West with 13 points. Rachel Brewster with 11. The team shooting just 35%, though. And that's really what's killing them, 20 of 57 shooting. So Utah State's ready to break the huddle, but the officials aren't ready to make a call on that. Arizona on the flip side, really not shooting out of this world or anything, just 40.7% from the field, 24 of 59 shooting, but they've dominated the rebounds battle against Utah State. 43 rebounds for Arizona to 33 of Utah State. Officials still taking a look over that. Again, it's not going to make too much of a difference as it is a 15-point lead right now for Arizona with just a minute and a half to go. Arizona hasn't scored in just about 3 minutes, but Utah State hasn't scored a field goal in about 6. So really cold finish to this game. Aggies with only 7 points in the fourth quarter. So it is overturned. Utah State will take over rather than Arizona. 1:33 on the clock. Eliza West picks it up past half court. Harris goes back to West. Back to Harris at the wing. Harris going to shoot it up and doesn't go. Steps up, tries to get the rebound, but Arizona's there. Wright takes it. 1:20 to go. Alonzo up against Olivia West. Kicks out to Thomas. Arizona very likely just going to milk this clock down as far as they can. Bennett goes out to the right wing. Driving in, Jessany Graham gets it stolen away by Emmy Harris. Emmy Harris in transition. Tries to go up, a lot of contact there. And they're going to call that an offensive foul on Emmy Harris. Aggie bench just absolutely confused on the call there. So Utah State going to make a substitution. Taylor Franson checks in for her first minutes of the game. Franson saw 9 minutes against Dixie, the freshman. And it looks like a timeout called by Utah State with 55 seconds left on the clock. 49-64, Utah State trailing. So for Utah State, kind of a tough outing here against Arizona. This is a team that you feel like they'd probably be able to hang in with, and they really did for much of the game. But unfortunately for the Aggies, probably going to be a loss here. And they're going to move to 1-2 on the season while Arizona moves up to 2-0. Arizona does have the inbound here. 55 seconds on the clock, 64-49 Arizona lead. They inbound, get it past half court. Bennett dribbles out behind the arc, and Arizona just going to milk this thing down. 17 on the shot clock, 41 on the game clock. Eliza West still playing aggressive up to the last buzzer. Tries to reach in against Lucia Alonzo, but she's called on the reach in. That puts them in the penalty, so Arizona will head to the line for shots. Alonzo, the shooter for Arizona. Alonzo with 14 points tonight. 4 of 5 from the three-point line, but she misses her first free throw. Add on 4 rebounds and 4 assists for Alonzo. Fantastic night. And has played almost the entire game, 37 minutes. Second shot goes. And Coach Finkbeiner going to call another timeout. Likely just wants to get his team these reps coming out of the timeouts and drawing up set plays, getting a little bit more practice. Can't blame him there. 65-49 is the Arizona lead, though. So Utah State taking a look forward. They're going to have a little bit of a road trip as they're going to head down south to southern Utah next Tuesday, play another in-state team there, followed by a game just up the road at Idaho State. Before they head to Maui for the Maui Classic, they're going to take on Montana State and fellow Pac-12 team Oregon State. Oregon State in the top 25, a fantastic team. It's going to give Utah State a real test there. For Arizona, they're going to continue this road trip. They've got a game at Loyola Marymount coming up on, I believe that's next Wednesday on the 21st, followed by games against TCU and Idaho at the Warner Center Marriott Thanksgiving Basketball Classic. So out of the timeout, Arizona has it. 23 seconds to go. I'm sorry, 23 on the shot clock. Just a couple seconds remaining between shot and game clock. 17 on the shot clock. Arizona going to take this thing. They're up 65-49. Aggies continue the aggressive defense, and Eliza West, you got to love that about her. She never gives up, and she's going to force a jump ball here with 14.9 on the clock. Let's see if the Aggies can break the 50-point mark here. Emmy Harris has it near the wing. Gets it up top for Eliza West. Eliza West out left. Finds Olivia West. She's going to shoot from about 5 feet behind the arc. Just jacked it up. Doesn't even come anywhere near the rim. And the horn is going to sound. Time expires. Utah State falls to Arizona 65-49. And that is just how it's going to go. Utah State falls to 1-2 on the season, while Arizona moves on up to 2-0. As I said, Utah State back at it, coming up against Southern Utah in the coming days. So we're going to have an interview here with Coach Finkbeiner in just a moment as he talks to his team, gets things settled down. Tough one for Utah State, but there's certainly a lot of things you can learn, and going up against a good, talented team like this, can't expect much less. So we're here with Coach Finkbeiner now after that one. Coach, obviously a tough game, but what are the positives you can take from this one?
Well, I don't think there's any positives, Jaden. That's a good question, but you know, Arizona just controlled the tempo of the game, and our scorers didn't score. That's a disappointing thing. The first half, you know, just the girls that we expect to score baskets missed shots, and that's really hard to recover from. All game long, we just didn't have any one single player that was, you know, making shots. The other thing is, too, I think halfway through the fourth quarter, we hadn't shot any free throws yet. 0 free throws. So it shows you how aggressive we were offensively. Disappointing night. Arizona has to be commended for the reason why we played so poorly, but our expectations were definitely not what we saw.
So, Coach, Arizona comes out to a 22-11 lead in the first quarter. What are the adjustments that you tried to make? And second quarter went a lot better, but then it seems like Arizona kind of figured it out.
Yeah, we started each half off very poorly. Each half very poorly. And the second half, we just couldn't recover. I mean, we came in at a 7-point deficit at halftime, which was manageable, and came out, I think, gave up the first 5-7 points, all of a sudden double figures, and, you know, and then the rest of the game we're just fighting uphill. So we got, you know, it's probably more about what can we learn about this game on the negative side, and one is, you know, our scorers have to score, and it's hard to coach that, but maybe it just wasn't quite maybe the mental frame of mind, but we'll get after it. We'll get it sold and solved and move forward. But, you know, we're not expected to win this game, but I know our expectation within our locker room, we were going to win it. But again, it's a good team we play tonight.
All righty, Coach. Thanks for the time.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So that's Coach Jerry Finkbeiner with just some final thoughts on tonight's game. Interesting to hear from him, as always. Utah State certainly going to have a lot of film to look at. Rough loss for him here tonight. So we're going to cut things out. Thanks for tuning in on this broadcast from Aggie Radio, AggieRadio.com, and the Mountain West Network. We appreciate you joining us. I'll be back at it this coming Tuesday at Southern Utah. I'll be down there for the action. You can catch that on Aggie Radio 92.3 KBLU in Logan, as well as AggieRadio.com as always. I'm Jaden Johnson. I appreciate you tuning in. Tough one for the Aggies as they fall 65-49 to a very talented Arizona team. And that's going to do it for us from the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. Go Aggies.